Hey up everyone, welcome back to the Rugby League History channel. Today on the channel I'll be doing my tips and predictions for round 14 of the NRL season. Last week I got 5 out of 8 correct. Let's see how many we can get correct this week. And that first match was on Thursday night. It's between Newcastle and Manly Warringah. This one's being played at Marathon Stadium. With Newcastle, they're sat in 15th at the moment, Manly in 7th place on the table. The last 10 meetings between these two clubs has been 5 wins apiece, so it's quite even there. This season, Newcastle haven't been good at all. They've only picked up 2 wins in the last couple of months, and they've been both against teams who have been depleted in South and Penrith. Whenever they come up against a team that has a full strength squad, it just seems that they just can't put it together. They've been absolutely dreadful, especially last week against St George. They were awful. As for Manly, they're very unpredictable, they're hot and cold, it's hard to get a read on them. They had a good win over Brisbane last week. I think that they can back it up again this week against Newcastle. I just can't tip Newcastle at all. They're not showing me anything, they're not giving me a reason to tip them. So I'm going to go for Manly to win this game by 13 plus. I think if they show up ready to play, there'll be too much for Newcastle. The first match on Friday is between Melbourne and North Queensland. This one's being played at Amy Park in Melbourne. Melbourne 4th on the table, North Queensland 6th on the table. In recent times, North Queensland has been a bit of a bogey side for Melbourne. They've won the last 4 meetings against them in all competitions. That includes trial games and things like that. Their record at Amy Park though isn't great. The last time that they won a match there was the 2015 preliminary final. So a very long time in between drinks for North Queensland. Both of these sides won last week. With North Queensland, they nearly lost in embarrassing circumstances against West Tigers. They just put the cue in the rack and let West get back into the game. This is going to be, I think, one of the games of the round because both teams have been playing quite well this year. However, I think given the record that North Queensland have down there in Melbourne at Amy Park, and how usually Melbourne play at Amy Park, I'm going to go for Melbourne to win this match by 1 to 12 points. The main match on the Friday is between Redcliffe, or the Dolphins if you want to call them that, and St George. This one's being played at Suncorp Stadium. Redcliffe are sat 10th on the table at the moment, and St George is sat 8th on the table, so quite close on the table for both of these clubs. These two sides have played 4 times against each other in their history. There's 2 wins apiece at the moment. I believe Redcliffe are coming into this match off the bye. They didn't play last week, and St George had a comfortable win over Newcastle at Cogra. St George has played a lot of rugby league at Suncorp in the last couple of weeks. They're up there for Magic round, and then they played against Brisbane and won there. And Redcliffe, they're such a hard team to pick at the moment, hard team to gauge on how they're going. And same for St George as well. They've had some up and down performances this year. This is one of them flip of the coin games for me. I'd probably say, I reckon I'll go for Redcliffe to win this match. Not with a lot of confidence, but I'll go for Redcliffe to win this match by 1 to 12 points. And the first match on Saturday is between Cronulla Sutherland and New Zealand. This one's being played at Shark Park. Cronulla sat in 5th at the moment, New Zealand sat in 3rd on the table. In the last 10 meetings between these two clubs, Cronulla's won 6 of those, and New Zealand's record at Shark Park is abysmal, I'd say. Since they come into the competition in 1995, they've only ever had the 7 wins there. So it's not very often that New Zealand win at Shark Park. Cronulla had the bye last week, but before that, they put in that awful display against the Eastern Suburbs. So they've had nearly a fortnight to have a good look at themselves in the mirror to come into this game. And New Zealand had a high scoring win over South Sydney. This is another game where I think it's going to be one of the games of the round. I think it's going to be a high quality game. And, you know, I'm thinking about tipping New Zealand, but because it's at Shark Park and because Cronulla's had the bye and they're coming into this game after that embarrassing loss against East, I'm going to go for Cronulla to win this one by 1 to 12 points on the Saturday. And the second match on Saturday is between Brisbane and the Gold Coast. This one's being played at Suncorp Stadium. With Brisbane, they're sat 11th on the table at the moment, and Gold Coast are last on the table. In the last 10 meetings between these two clubs, Brisbane and Gold Coast have won 5 matches each, and in some of them games they've been very high scoring, 36-34, 43-26, 35-24 and 36-28. Brisbane, they've been fucking terrible the last month or so. They've had 4 losses in a row. Once again, they were awful against Manly. And as for the Gold Coast, they're wooden spoon candidates for me. There's 7 times this year that they've conceded over 30 points in a game. They just can't defend. They can't defend if their life depends on it. And I think, you know, it doesn't matter if you can score points if you can't defend. What's the point of going out there and even trying? So both teams are under a lot of pressure, but I think Brisbane, this is the week that they finally win a game. I think they can turn it around. I'm going to go for Brisbane to win this game in a high scorer, 1-12 points. And the first match on the Sunday is between Canberra and South Sydney. This one's being played at Bruce Stadium in Canberra. Canberra sat second on the table at the moment, South Sydney in 9th place. Canberra's won their last 3 matches against South. Last time out, both of these sides had, South Sydney had a high scoring loss and Canberra had a high scoring win. I think that both clubs can score points when they're on. I think how they've been going this year though, I think Canberra's been playing a lot better than South Sydney. Obviously South Sydney have had a few injuries and things like that. But with Canberra, I think at home they're going to be very hard to beat. They're going to be very strong. I know that South Sydney might have a chance of winning there on Sunday, but I'm going to go for Canberra to win this game by 1-12 points. Of course, over the weekend, Alex Johnston, he became the second player in New South Wales Rugby League / NRL history to get 200 tries. I've got a lot to say about that when he eventually breaks Ken Irvine's record, but that's besides the point. I'm going to go for Canberra to win this game by 1-12 points. And the second match on the Sunday is between West Tigers and Penrith. This one's being played at Western Sydney Stadium. West Tigers are the home side for this match. I hope they're not starting this #OurJungle shit again. Anyway, West Tigers are 13th on the table. Penrith are 14th on the table at the moment. West Tigers coming to this fixture having lost 3 matches in a row in the league, and Penrith have dominated this fixture in recent times. They've won 7 of the last 10 encounters. Now, some people out there consider this to be a rivalry because Ivan Cleary left Penrith to go to West Tigers. I mean, it's not a fucking rivalry. So what? He left West Tigers to go to Penrith. Big deal. Get over it. Anyway, last time out, West Tigers had a spirited comeback loss against North Queensland. As for Penrith, they had a narrow win over Parramatta. However, a lot of people were pointing out in the comment section online that Parramatta pretty much threw the game away. They had a lot of bomb tries and all this other caper. So, look, are Penrith back at the moment? I think they're getting there, but they're not there yet. And West Tigers, I think they'll give them a game on Sunday. I think this will be a close one, but I'm going to go for Penrith to win this match. I'm going to go for them to win this game by 1-12 points. And the final game to close out the round is on Monday. This is the King's Birthday Bank Holiday match. It's between Canterbury Bankstown and Parramatta, the second biggest rivalry in the NRL in my own personal opinion. This one's being played at Stadium Australia. There's been 157 matches played between these two clubs. Canterbury Bankstown 80 wins, Parramatta 72 wins, and there's been 5 draws. However, in the last 10 meetings, Parramatta's won 7 of those. In the last week or so, there's been a lot of talk about Lachlan Galvin finally moving away from West Tigers. He's signed for Canterbury Bankstown. I'm just fucking sick to death about hearing about it. I mean, he's got no moral compass anyway. He's morally bankrupt. You don't say, I'm a boyhood Parramatta supporter, and then you sign for Canterbury Bankstown, the biggest arch rivals. It's just a big no-no. But at the moment, Canterbury are sat top of the table in first place. Parramatta 16th at the moment. These two sides met each other earlier in the year, and Canterbury pretty much easily accounted for Parramatta on that occasion. I know with these matches, rivalry games, form goes out the window, but At the moment, Canterbury's just a better team. They've got a better team on paper. It's going to be very hard for me to see how Parramatta's going to win this game. They're getting better. I mean, against Penrith once again, I think this is the third match that they've lost this year where it's come down to bomb tries and individual errors and things like that. But yeah, at the moment, I just don't see a way that Parramatta can win this game. Not unless Canterbury play awfully. So I'm going to go with Canterbury to win this match by 13 plus on Monday. So that concludes my tipping video for round 14 of the 2025 NRL season. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know in the comment section below. Let me know who you're tipping. Thanks to everyone that tuned in last week and watched my video. It's much appreciated. Thanks for taking your time out of your day, whatever you're doing, to watch the video. Anyways, it's been Rugby League history, and I'll catch us all later in the next one. Ta-ra for now.